UndergroundVideoNetwork.com presents the We Talk Too Much podcast.
This is where the fun begins.
Comic books, superheroes, sci-fi, gaming, and everything nerdy.
That's it. This is just too weird.
Now, here's your host of the We Talk Too Much podcast, Mike and Richard.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Underground Video Network's We Talk Too Much. I am Michael Boroff.
I'm Richard Catterjohn.
Rich, how's it going?
I don't know. This is 100th episode of this particular show.
Yeah, 100. God.
The audio version, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's nice since we did the switch over, we were able to get together more often, and especially, even doing this, we're able to get together more often. I say that ironically, considering we didn't get to do a show last week. That's my fault, ladies and gentlemen. Last weekend was my birthday, and I am 42 for the third year in a row. So, yeah. So we took a little hiatus for last week, but it wasn't for lack of content, man.
And I was kind of busy last weekend, too, because I was very busy getting Laughing Ogre's video edited. So,
how's that turning out?
Did you watch it?
Oh, yes. I mean, how? Yes.
Oh, yeah. They submitted it, so it's out there for everybody to watch. So,
oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's been a kind of a long week. Like I said, my birthday was last week. This weekend, it's part of the reason why I want to apologize, everybody. We're running a little late today. I got a chance to spend some time with some friends today. Very responsible. We are all fully vaccinated. It's been a long time coming. In case she's watching, I got to spend some time with one of my best friends in the entire world, Kim, and her wife, Jessica. We got to spend a day down in Yellow Springs. And they surprised me too with a little birthday treat, Rich. I got to show you this. So we go to this one toy store there in Xenia, Ohio, and it's vintage toys. I got to give them a small plug. Vintage toys in Xenia, Ohio, and their sister store, which is a couple down. Rich, this is one of those places where as soon as I walked into it, my wallet screamed. It was just like, no! So we're walking around the first store, and I see this gorgeous poster from Superman the movie, right? It's one of the original, they weren't the full-size, you know what I'm talking about, Richard. They weren't the full-size posters, but they were one of the smaller prints that were in theaters, behind the concession stand and everything.
Yeah, the cards, yeah. Or what they call it, yeah.
Yeah. It was Clark and Lois. Absolutely loved it. And I'm like, I got my eye on you. But there's another toy store down the road. And they sent me a video a few weeks ago, Rich. This is how trained my eye is. Kim's FaceTiming me, showing me this toy store. And it was just, a quick little swipe. What does my eye do? I see a TARDIS. So I'm asking her, is this a toy store that you were at? She's like, yep. I go, out of the way, I'm on a mission. I found it. Found one of the Matt Smith era. It was not just the TARDIS, Richard. It's the interior.
Oh wow.
Of the TARDIS. I haven't seen one of these since the Matt Smith days. So they were both asking me, oh, which one you gonna get? And I'm like, man, it's going to be a coin flip, but I'm gonna get the TARDIS. They're like, all right. And then as we're leaving, Jessica's like, come on, go get it. You want to go get it. And I'm like, we already left Yellow Springs. I don't want to tell you, Richard, how much I dropped at Yellow Springs at the bookstores there. You know what I'm talking about. Superfly and Darkstar. And she's like, oh, come on. She's like, oh, all right. We popped the trunk. Richard, I am not ashamed to admit I'm a grown man. I wept a little bit.
So in long run, Mike did get his poster.
Yes, I got my poster. So
Remember, there's people on the audio.
So yeah, I got my poster. I'm sorry, I held up the poster. Yeah, they surprised me while my back was turned. While I was in the store with Kim, Jessica hightailed it down to the other store and gave surprised me with the poster. And if she's watching right now, if either one of you are watching, I was almost in tears the entire way home. I was. Thank you very much. It was so sweet. But yeah, that's why I'm running a little late today, because I'm like, I know I want to do the show. Dude, have you been on 75, Richard, in the last week or so?
No, but I bet all the barrels are out, right?
Oh my God! Yeah. For anyone listening or watching this show outside of the state of Ohio, the official state flower is the orange barrel, because they always bloom this time of year. So yeah, that's why running a little late, but we appreciate anybody and everybody watching and or listening. Yeah, great day down in Yellow Springs. Well, it was a little cold, a little rainy. Well, we didn't hit the rain, but welcome to Ohio. It's June. Grab your parka. So what about you, Richard? What have you been up to?
Just the Laughing Ogre video, and basically not much else this week. So,
well, after the last month or so you've had, you earned a week or two of, you earned a little break.
Well, I did work on the UVN Plus video archive. I did want to mention that. So, folks, if you go over there, you'll notice a little change in how things are organized. Everything's organized under the search. If you look for UVN behind the counter, if you know you've been on an episode where we interviewed you or so forth, you're probably there. And I'm adding some search tags so that it'll help you find if you find an episode you've been on, you just click on, say, I'll just use Sean Forney, since he's been on a lot of our episodes. I typed his name in a few different times now, but you click on that and it'll bring up all the episodes that he's been on and stuff like that. So it's giving us another layer of search parameters. They're like tagging system at the bottom that you can actually find your favorite artists, creators, or whatever that way too, if you find. But the actual search itself's not quite working yet. But let me figure that out before the week's over. Then hopefully I'll have all 835 videos searchable. So
Say that number for me one more time.
There's 835 different videos in our archive. That ranges all the way from UVN Behind the Counter, our original show, our original spin-off show, UVN Spotlight, which has a lot of our Comic-Con conventions, like where we gone to Gem City during the early days in 2008, 2009, 2010, I think is when we started meshing it back in. But we had those set up as their own entity, and then different coverages from space is set up that way and so forth. So hopefully I will be able to have all the creators searchable by using this new system. So
right on. That's fantastic.
And even the panels, any panel that we filmed, they're up there now too. And that's under what's called Panel Room. So we have UVN Behind the Counter, UVN We Talk Too Much, which is this show, and then Panel Room. And then I even have Frank and Bill's show, Geek Street. That's all categorized because we did do a bunch of his Raymond Power Hours live as video too. So those are under Geek Street, since that was produced by UVN. And also the show that we try to start that you was on, the comic book show. The comic book show. That's what it was called, I think. And some of that stuff all under there. And then there's a couple other little things up there. Richard's UVN, which is the old stuff. And that's not quite there yet, but it'll be there. But anybody wants to find out anything old, or just go to our Facebook page, because I have been sharing some of that old stuff recently. So
yeah, even your flashbacks even surprised me, Rich, where it's just like, damn, I forgot I talked to that person. Like, I forgot we did that.
Yeah, so hopefully this is going to help out anybody that wants to find any old videos that they've been on and so forth. I mean, I've seen so much old stuff, and then I even realized when I was posting stuff that I actually missed an episode, and I just posted that this last week when Kelsey was helping us interview some people at Space that I didn't get Chris Charleston's interview posted. So that's up there this week. So.
Right on.
And then I found another one that we missed that you interviewed, that cosplay group from the Dayton area at Jim and Dan's comic and toy show back in 2019. That'll be posted this week.
Oh yeah, that wasn't that the last show that they did at the Hera Arena.
No, this was 2019. This is when we actually had a table at Jim and Dan.
Oh, okay, I remember now. All right.
Yeah, that's when we met Josh and from Cutthroat Comics and stuff like that. You know, because the table like next to us or one down from us or whatever, and then Frank was there and stuff. So that was a good show, but I forgot all about that. We never posted the cosplay stuff because I filmed a little bit of the cosplay contest and they sponsored it. I can't think of their name offhand, but that one will be added next week. So
something to look forward to. Speaking of things to look forward to, let's just dive right into the CW, buddy.
I think it's falling apart at the seams.
Dude, it is flying off the rails. First of all, I'm not talking about you, Legends of Tomorrow. You're still my baby. We still love you. Okay, Legends of Tomorrow, man, God damn, I love that show. And I love when that show really doesn't take itself seriously. I mean, landing in the middle of Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Like, how brilliant do you have to be as a writer to say, you know what would make a really funny episode? Cuban Missile Crisis. Let's throw Castro in on there too. Like, oh my God.
And an alien on top of everything.
And an alien on top of it. No, it wasn't an alien. It was a mutant sent by America to kill me, Castro. Like, God, it was so good.
But I still think this year's lacking something, though.
It's you know what? I thought about this too, Richard. What I think it's lacking the when I say family feel, I don't mean like a family show. I mean as a team.
Yeah,
it's missing that family chemistry because
they're losing all the original players. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah, Mick Rory is on his way out, which that was the one that got me.
Right.
That was the one that really got me because I love his character, and I loved seeing his character actually develop since season 1 when he was legitimately just I don't want to be here. I am a villain. I will burn your ass the first chance I get. To this last episode, man, he was the one that was gung-ho about saving Sarah.
Right.
He was the one. Dude, when he came out wearing the nice black shirt and he was telling everybody what to do and everybody's looking at him like, where did you learn these words? Like, dude, he's a writer, come on, man, he's a romance writer. He knows, he's smart,
But I don't know. I just think that's, I don't know. It's just going in this direction, and I hope they know what they're doing. I hope when they came into this season, that they actually know how they're going to finish it. I hope they just didn't say, we're just going to do these aliens thing and we'll just play with it until we figure out what we're going to do.
I do too. I really hope I don't want to see that show. And of all the shows here lately, that's the one I really don't want to see end. But I hope that when the time does come, they handle their last season a lot better than a couple of the other CW shows we've had to suffer through these past few weeks.
Right.
Good Lord.
But there's a lot of talk about rest of the Arrowverse, and I think this is time for change. I think there's big things on the horizon for what they want to do with. I think they need to basically get rid of the Arrowverse and start with just having, as we always call it, DC on CW or something like that, because Arrow's been gone now Flash is one of the last parts that's even left because we know both Supergirl is going to be gone. Black Lightning just ended.
Yep.
But it ended really strong. You gotta admit that was a really good episode. And there's even that talk of the spinoff series now moving over to HBO Max, right?
The one with his daughters?
No, that Painkiller.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I see how I think this is what they need to do. And I've even said that. Why don't the stories be independent? Why do they have to be
right
part of this Arrowverse? Why can't they be? Because I mean, Superman is and Lois is the example. You know, I mean, look at this week. We'll get there, but
let's get to the good in a minute. I don't want a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I'm not done bashing it, but look, we got to talk about Flash. I know we're two behind, but I got to talk about that last episode. What the shit did I watch? What the hell was going on? You want to talk about a poorly written, incoherent mess? Okay, first of all, Nora's good, and the forces are bad. Wait a minute, the forces are good, and Nora's bad. Well, wait a minute, everybody's good. No, it was.
Well, they're just forces. How can a force be bad or good? They're a force.
And cringe is the word that I bring up quite a bit when I think about that episode, because one of the first cringy things was how Barry and Nora kept referring to everybody as their kids.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, those people are older than you. The two of them are. The one is at least older.
The force part that's taken over the bodies is what they're talking about.
Right, but they kept referring to the people as their kids.
But the people are gone. People were gone technically, is what we're trying to write it as. The bodies were just hosts. They weren't really. I mean, technically they did have their memories and stuff, but they were basically the force, so.
But it was still really cringy, because I understand what you're saying, but they didn't execute it well, because there were too many times, especially with like the Sage Force, where he kept bringing up his family.
Right.
And the Still Force kept referring to, I was supposed to be a star. I was supposed to, when they were in the Coliseum, this was supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't think they knew how to write it correctly.
No.
I think they should have got rid of the human element, but they were afraid to get rid of the human element because a normal viewer watching wouldn't understand.
Right.
And I think they were torn between how they was going to write it, or one writer was writing it for a while, another writer took over, because there's multiple writers on
Flash. Because see, they handled Barry's mom well, because Barry's mom, the Speed Force.
Right.
I am not Barry's mom. I took her image to,
Yeah.
I am an epic force of the Speed Force.
Right.
But the other three were the complete opposite.
Because they were like bodies. Would that be then Nora's really Flash's mom's body?
But then they kept referring to each other as brother and sister, and it was just weird. And I'm sorry. The other complaint that I have, and I'm not alone in this, and it's not just a guy thing. I read a lot of the message boards, Facebook, IMDb. It's a broad consensus. It's not the Flash anymore. It's the Irish Show. I'm sorry. The first few seasons, I really liked the character Iris. I don't like what they've done with her.
Right.
They needed her to fill Harrison Wells' shoes. And she wasn't equipped for it.
No.
She's telling Cisco the science stuff. Well, try this, try that. And I'm like, I'm not insulting you, but you're a fantastic reporter. You're a reporter.
Yeah.
And
I think it had to do after she got stuck in that mirror universe. I don't think they knew how to do it, At least that's what I'm thinking,
And I'm tired. I'm really tired of Barry, because have you noticed, like, this last season and a little bit, but the season before is every episode it's like, I'm an asshole, but by the end of the episode I've learned why I was an asshole, and I'm not going to be that kind of asshole anymore.
Yeah.
That is so out of character for Barry. I understand he's been through some stuff, I mean, that takes a toll on anybody, but he acts so out of character anymore, as opposed to the first few seasons.
Yeah.
He's the paragon of hope, for God's sake, and
it's crisis
yeah. And again, we're losing Cisco.
Yeah.
Which I'm super bummed by that. The other thing about this last episode, Richard, that really pissed me off was the one story that I wanted to see, we didn't see, and I'm talking about Killer Frost.
Oh yeah, Frost.
Thank you. That whole story with Frost, I would have loved to have seen it.
Yeah, we saw 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, but the problem is here's what the problem I had with it, Richard. She broke out of jail. Period. She broke out of jail. I mean, that's where I'm in this. She broke out of jail, but I helped reincarcerate all these supervillains that broke out of jail.
Right.
Okay, and that was partly good enough. So all the times where she was with Superman, the Legends, and saved the universe,
yeah,
that wasn't good enough for the courts.
Well, they didn't know about that. That's the problem.
And here's the other thing I have an issue with, because then she also said, "Oh yeah, a letter of recommendation, a good word from the Flash really helped out." Where the shit was he during the first trial? All right, you're on trial. Flash zooms in. Hi, Speed Force. Obviously, the Flash. She's helped save the world 100 times. Let her go.
So did they write the one from Argus or whatever, the military woman that came in that was like the head of the state or whatever?
Oh, the one that prosecuted her to begin with.
Right. Yeah. So where's she at? She's got to be like, wait a second.
Yeah. I mean, that woman was hell bent on getting her ass in jail.
So did they write that? Yeah, is that all written off now? I mean, because she has those bullets with the take away the powers and stuff like that. Yeah. It was like someone else took over the writing after like halfway through that storyline.
Yeah,
or the last episode.
Yeah. So, and it was such a throwaway. It was almost insulting to the character, because she's like, "Yeah, I broke out of jail. Sure, federal crime, of course." But I helped to recapture a bunch of the supervillains that I probably helped put in jail in the first place.
And fell in love again.
Oh my God. That one was a little bit cringy, but for Frost, it made sense. It's sometimes hard for me not to still see her as Caitlin.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at that douchey guy all oiled up and everything, and I'm like, no, she would never. And I'm like, no.
It's Frost.
Caitlin would never, but Frost.
Yeah.
And in even that fight, does Frost?
And that fight.
Does Frost?
Why were they fist fighting? They both have freezing powers.
Yeah. Does Frost forget that she could? Look, that whole fight should have been over in a minute. I just froze your feet to the ground.
Yeah. Because that guy only has like some kind of. And how did he get his mechanical freezing things back so fast? I mean,
again, what we're saying is more and more reason why, in our humble opinion, the thoughts in them. We need to make that sign. You need to make that logo, Richard. But in my opinion, this is one of the worst seasons.
It just seems like they just don't know what to do with it anymore, and the special effects have gotten so cheap.
Oh, bad. I mean, even for CW. Now I know I will rip, especially this last season. I will be merciless when it comes to special effects on Supergirl.
No, yeah.
But these and this like last episode, even those were atrocious.
But I don't know. I just, like I said, everybody keeps thinking this is the end of the Arrowverse, and I think that's what needs to happen. I hate to say that, but
Richard, you know how I feel about the CW and the Arrowverse, but I'm backing you on this one. I agree 100%. The Arrowverse officially, the CW verse
right, yeah.
officially needs to be humanely put down.
Yeah, because like, well, on our archive, whenever we talk about it, I used to only say it was like the DC on CW or something. I do call it the Arrowverse. So if you're watching our older opinions on some of our stuff, just look under Arrowverse and find them there. And then you can talk about when we used to like the shows, you know.
Yeah. Oh, even at its height, the Flash, even some of the bad episodes still had redeeming qualities to them. I can't find, man. And speaking of cringe, that last scene with Barry and Iris, and that's I think what bothered me, Richard, was I didn't feel the chemistry between the two of them. I know, in the show they've been together for, ever, and they're married. But for some odd reason, for that particular scene, Rich, when they're sitting on the couch, it's like, yes, when our kid goes to college, when we decide to have one, then Iris gets up and starts walking, and she's like, let's make baby. And I'm like,
Oh,
it's so cringy.
yeah. Well, it's leading. It's a segue to what's going to happen next.
And you want to talk about just a smack in your face throwaway line. Oh, what a great impulse. Wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah,
nudge.
yeah.
Like literally the writer who wrote that bit of dialogue should have been bitch slapped. Because it was literally a very bad wink, wink, nudge, nudge moment. Like, come on. Hey, where'd you get the name Impulse? Well, my dad was telling me about the story about the night I was conceived. No. And I'm excited for it, but the problem is I have two problems with Impulse. First of all, the costume looks phenomenal. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking the actor they've got to play it. My problem is I know Impulse. I'm a huge Young Justice fan. He's too old.
Yeah.
Read the comic books, people. Remember those things that you're basing your shows on?
Yeah.
Impulse was a kid.
Yeah.
So
I think he's going to take over for Kid Flash.
Yeah.
So what did happen? Wait a second. What did happen to Kid Flash after Crisis?
Nobody knows.
I know he was on Legends for a while.
No.
Then he came back to Flash, right?
He came back for like a couple episodes as kind of a hey, how's everybody doing kind of moment.
Yeah, because he went off to the Himalayas, didn't he? And was he learning Zen?
No, if I remember right, he went on a retreat. I want to say it was Namba Parbat.
Okay.
Because remember, he showed Barry how he could do this stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? He just went back off, or did he disappear in the Crisis? And we don't know.
Don't know. Because that was weird, Rich. I'm glad you mentioned that, because in a lot of the production stills, behind the scenes photos that we've seen of the entire Flash family with Impulse and the daughter. Where's Wally?
Yeah.
I don't, man. This was one of the few times, Richard, where I'm watching The Flash, literally going, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
This was bad.
I know we're usually not negative, but this just seems like CW, just these shows just went nowhere,
Yeah.
And blame it on COVID, I guess. Maybe they don't have the right writers anymore or something, Maybe they brought in I just think they want to get it over with. I mean, luckily we are getting Supergirl over with now,
Yeah.
What's left? 6 episodes, something like that, 8. And then let's see. Well, one good thing was announced. We get another CW series that hopefully will be more like Superman and Lois. Let's go. Let's start the positive. You know, during the CW press conference or whatever, they've expanded to a new night. Get Saturdays now, so they're going to have stuff on Saturdays on the CW if you like that. And but they're going to have Naomi. From the new comic, and I love the comic series.
I do too.
And this actress looks the part really good, you know. So
yeah, you know what? I honestly really think, the inspiration for Naomi came from was the people at the CW looked at the Disney shows.
Oh,
and were like, yeah, you know,
well,
let's yeah.
Well, Stargirl worked, you know.
Yes.
And they put money into that, and I heard that season 2 has a budget. So it's on the same level as like Superman and Lois. It's like those shows they want to be like the next tier they're adding money to, and they're taking away from the original Granddaddy shows, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll work. And then, you know, we still have Batwoman strong, I think, even though it's supposedly is going to be canceled after 3rd season.
Yeah, I'm hearing that one is really on the fence. Actually, it reminds me, Richard, because I saw it was a meme, but it showed the CW universe, like the cast photo, you know, everybody, it was like 2019.
Oh.
Then underneath it was 2020. But then somebody tinkered with it again, and underneath it was the same picture of the people from 2020 with X's through all the shows that are getting canceled.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's like you know, like Supergirl crossed out, Flash crossed out, Black Lightning crossed out.
It's like, why did they even do the Crisis if this was all going to happen, you know?
Crisis would have, you know what? Considering what we got, Crisis would have been a better ending to the entire thing.
Yeah, why didn't they just like start off, if they're going to re-add all these multiverses, why didn't they just like wipe out the characters and start over, you know, and go off into the Flash movie or something, you know?
Yeah. Why go to all the effort of unifying like Supergirl and the Flash into one universe,
right?
Only to have it end a year later and never really even exploit that crossover,
except for maybe first 5 episodes of Flash next year.
Right?
Yeah, there's that big talk about the 5-episode crossover event in the Flash. So the first 5 episodes might be redemption on what's going on. Maybe we'll get Supergirl, you know, the original Supergirl back, Melissa.
Benoist.
Yeah, Benoist. I started to say Joan Hart. Sabrina. Oh, joy.
Hey, if they want to do a reboot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch with Melissa Joan Hart as like Sabrina the
aunt,
middle-aged witch, I'm all for that. Hey, work for Punky Brewster.
It'd be better than her, the mayor of, or what is council person of Toledo.
Oh God!
Never mind. Did you ever see that show? You know what I'm talking about or not?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm not going there.
No.
Joey's gone. You know. Oh.
Yeah.
But like I said, CW I think is after this year they're going to start redoing things. I just think they need to get out from under this DC stuff. I know we were saying that I think one episode I watched that I just reposted there from basically before, I think it was like early 2019 or something. We said DC was taking over the CW, you know, because that was like during the Crisis time frame, you know.
Yeah.
But then there's the good stuff coming out of hopefully what's going to happen with HBO Max, you know. Because they're starting to do all the Green Lantern stuff and getting some of that ready. So there's still hopes.
And the biggest hope we have right now in the CW, on the CW network, I'm not even going to refer to it as the universe.
Right. Yeah.
Superman and Lois.
Right.
God bless you, Superman and Lois. That is some quality programming right there. The last 2 episodes have been stellar. Let's start with not this last week. Let's start with the week before when Jonathan was really starting to have problems with his powers. The writing is phenomenal because not only do they write Superman well. That is a well-written Superman. He is a well-written Clark. And I mean by Clark as in Clark, husband, and father. He is a very well-rounded character. He cares. He tries to do as much as he can. He's learned that he can't always be there. And I really adored the scene out in the barn with it looked like a tree. It was way too big to be a telephone pole, but it was like this giant wooden tree looked like, about for the people, for anybody just listening, hold your hands out and cup them. That's how big the tree was. But you saw all these punch marks all over it. And I'm like, that is brilliant. Even as a Superman fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, the concept of that, him learning how to, punch just right and not hurting himself. Like, God damn it, that was brilliant. And it was such a great moment because, when Jonathan first hits it and he like damn near breaks his hand. Then Clark, take a deep breath. He talks him through it. And when he whacked that thing and that whole thing shook, man, that was some genuine dad pride. You know what I mean? That wasn't just like an instructor going, "Oh, well done." That was his boy, And then
learning the hearing, with his hearing going nuts, I felt sorry for him, because I had it hurt.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody that's, put on a pair of headphones and forgot how loud they were, amplify that by like 1,000,000. That's probably what he was going through.
Yeah.
And they handled it very well. Like, he wasn't just giving up. Like the scene when he was looking at the clock. He didn't give up. He tried. But it still wasn't, it wasn't just like, oh, he learned it that quick. No, I hate to say he failed. But it didn't work. He tried to focus on the ticking of the clock, but it was still way too much for him.
Yeah.
And then we also got to learn what happens when a teenage boy gets super hearing. when he overheard his brother and the girl, that was just some pure in its purest form, teenage brother sibling rivalry, jealousy, and I love the way they write the two of them, because it would be so easy for them to be just like, oh, I hate my brother, or oh, I love my brother unconditionally. There's that good balance,
right?
Jordan was rightfully pissed off that Jonathan was listening in on him, but then when he started to have that attack, he was still right there with his brother.
And then when he tried to block his punch with his hand,
dude, that scene after the football game.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you, the one thing that bugs me about this is, where the hell is Smallville located in this universe? Because you assume, Smallville, Kansas,
right,
and Metropolis was always like
Chicago
or
St. Louis. That's where I've always placed it, somewhere in between there, right?
Yeah. Granted, I don't know a lot about sports, Richard, but what hell kind of regional bracketing is putting Smallville up against Metropolis?
Yeah.
I went to high school football games when I was in high school. I don't recall us ever playing Texas.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't recall.
Yeah, it's not intercollegiate.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes, this is high school. But it worked again. We nitpick, but still
Well,
love
I did take that back though. Cheerleaders always did those intercollegiate competitions though.
True. But that was here's another moment that really, I mean, good writing, and it really got to me, Richard, was when Jonathan was out on the field, and it was just after that big tackle and everything, when Clark saw that he was starting to have an attack.
Oh,
when he went out on the field, and he's embraces the wrong word, but he's comforting Jonathan, and he's also kind of trying to protect him and shy him away from, prying eyes. When Jonathan was going on about it, I can't control it. It's, it's going to happen. And his eyes started going red. When Clark told him, let it out. And Clark took the full brunt of his heat vision in his hand. That was one of the greatest father moments. I mean, it's like the comic book version of it. I was like, Daddy, I'm going to get sick. All right, get puke in my hand. Come on, puke in my hand, except that it was like sun hot laser vision, and Clark, you saw the look on his face. He was like, he was holding it in, he didn't want anybody to see what was going on. Like, God damn it, that's a dad.
I wonder how did he like absorb the energy then? Is that what he was doing?
Could be. I mean, if you want to get, because I'm a Superman fan, if you want to get weird into it, I mean, his heat vision was always a projection of his solar powers.
Right.
And maybe he was absorbing it, or it might have just been, I mean, it might have just been akin to him, Richard, just absorbing a laser. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because he can absorb a certain amount of energy, right? Is that
right.
Superman's his cells can absorb energy or something?
A little bit, yeah.
But
that was still a great moment. And he's not the only one that's the other really great thing about Superman and Lois is they're not the only ones that are getting good story arcs, man. Everything that's going on with Lois right now has been really good. Lois talking to Lana, and Lana's finally starting to really see that Lois is right about Morgan Edge.
Oh, yeah.
And she's trying to play it carefully because she wants to help out. I mean, I really do feel for Lana in this show because, like, she knows bad things are happening. She wants to help Lois. She doesn't want to get hurt, herself.
Right.
But at the same time, her husband is very, pro Morgan Edge, so she's got to walk that line. And even when he sets her up in his organization, when her friend comes in and is trying to talk Lana into signing her daughter up for like the young entrepreneur program or whatever, you can see Lana's kind of like, yeah, but Morgan's right there, so she's like, I'll see what I can do, but but I think one of the great revelations that we had, especially this last episode, dude, my mind was blown by this. Was we have been under the assumption, because we've heard the computer say it, that the character of Captain Luthor was a Luthor.
Yeah.
But we found out this last week, man, he's not a Luthor. And it was clever the way they did it too, though. It wasn't just like a red herring. The suit was programmed for Luthor.
Right.
He just tricked the suit into thinking that he was Luthor.
Right.
But we found out that Captain Luthor is not Captain Luthor, but is in fact John Henry Irons. Man, and the fact that they entitled the episode Richard Man of Steel, that was brilliant. I loved the idea that is John Henry. I love that it's John Henry from another world, which explains a lot. Explains his ability, capability with technology.
Yeah.
He wasn't, this isn't just some guy that got a suit. He's very capable with technology. He's an inventor. He's a creator. And man, when he pulled out the hammer, Rich. I've always been a big fan of Steel. Big fan. I love Steel. And man, when he pulled out that hammer, I was like, yes. But then I realized what else was going on. I'm like, no. Oh, jumping all over the place, Richard. The previous episode. Wait a minute. Was it the episode before where the kid Tag that was affected by the K kryptonite kidnapped Lana's daughter? Was that this week or last week?
That was the week last. It was 2 weeks. It wasn't this last week's episode. It was the week before. Okay,
so we really need to catch up.
Yeah, because we didn't have episode last week, so we didn't talk about it. Remember?
Okay. Again, great episode. Again, Clark trying to do the right thing. But man, the scene, Richard, that's going to stand out for me when this season is over is when Superman finds Tag. He finds Lana's daughter. He's trying to talk to him. And then the army comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Which was bad enough. But the fact that them assholes had kryptonite bullets. Dude, that scene was astonishing. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I hate seeing angry Superman. I hate seeing angry Superman for no reason.
Right.
That scene was so well done. Not only was it well done, well written, Tyler Hoechlin, man, I loved him before. That scene cemented for me. Not my Superman. That's Christopher Reeve. But when they shoot him, and he's got those kryptonite bullets, that were just, not strong enough to, to pierce the suit, but not, go skin deep.
Right.
But still enough to hurt him. When he yanked him out, which was a great moment, Richard. We hardly ever see that in any of the shows. We always see, like there's a lump of kryptonite over there, and Clark has to have somebody knock it out of the way, or
Right.
It affected him, but he still had enough in him to yank him out. And when he threw them, hit him with his heat vision. When he kneeled up and he got pissed.
No.
And I say this, he was justified. If you're Superman and the army just shot you with kryptonite bullets, you're allowed to get a little pissed off. But he was still able to control it, which was a great parallel to the story with Jonathan. But dude, with eyes ablaze, when he flew up on that soldier and he just said those two words, stand down. Dude, I peed a little bit. I was like, woo, yes, sir. That moment right there in that show is gonna rank up there as one of my favorite moments of this show. That was stellar. Just stand down. Yeah. And it was nice because we've seen Tyler Hoechlin. I like when we get to see their range. We saw Tyler Hoechlin be the goofy dad, the genuinely goofy dad. We get to see him, we've seen him be kind of goofy Clark, Superman. We got to see raw anger, and that was well done, Tyler. That was a hell of a job. That was good stuff.
And I liked how that Steel didn't know that he was Superman when he was talking to Clark.
I know. Okay. Dude, I have been defending Superman in the glasses forever. To the point where I just go, you know why it works? It's a comic book. Let it go. But damn, man. I mean, even that scene like when they were at the truck. I mean, they're this close. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anybody would be kind of like, You're Superman.
Because even when he broke in and his computer system, said he broke in and showed him and stuff. Oh, it's just Clark Kent. It's nothing to worry about. So that must mean that on his Earth, either he's never been Clark Kent or Clark Kent never existed.
I'm betting that.
Yeah.
I'm really betting that.
Because I think that added to it,
Because I'm betting, and I really do hope we see more. But I'm betting, since we've seen other Kryptonians in the distance, I'm betting it's a, I don't want to say mass invasion, but Clark wasn't the only one to get out.
Or it has to do with the what they're doing with the kryptonite, creating humans.
Okay, I'll go with that. Which would really fuel the fire for John to really want to track this shit down.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. That's the whole premise. And these are like humans that's like Superman, but it wasn't maybe Morgan Edge doing it. Maybe it was Superman to start with.
Yeah.
Creating a super army,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just guessing, Because if he didn't have Lois Lane in his life would have been totally different.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't saw the episode, this is truly spoilers. So sorry, people.
Yeah. They're
I think everybody watches our show or listens to our episodes know we spoiled the CW a lot.
Should just change it from "we talk too much" to "we spoil too much." But yeah, this last episode, and it was again writing Jonathan and Jordan as brothers, working together. That was so great. Jordan's like you drive, I can't drive. I've only got my temporary permit. I haven't driven this. The small bickering between the two of them. If you've got siblings, like that's how we bicker. You know what I mean? Like. You can't convince me that at least one of the writers in the writer's room does not have siblings, because that is some sibling bickering right there. But, he's listening. He's driving. And it was nice seeing the boys come to Dad's aid. And that was another very well thought out thing too, Richard. He came at him with red sunlight.
Right.
He lit that whole,
So he must know his weaknesses,
The only problem I have with that, and I'm going to go full nerd, I'm going to allow it for the CW universe, but the biggest problem I have with that was it was talking to comic books. Red solar energy doesn't drain Clark of his power. Clark is a battery.
Yeah.
It's not like your old-fashioned cheap calculators where, as soon as you put your finger over the solar panel, the screen went away. He's a battery.
Yeah.
Clark had a good few hours left of fight left in him, but for story-wise, it was still intelligent, and it was...
Unless it really wasn't like red rays, maybe it was some kind of other, that like effect from red rays that like drained his power. Maybe it was a little bit more than just,
Right. But still, it showed John Henry's intelligence.
Right.
And that was another really great moment too, Richard, because at first they're handling that character very well, because it's not a black or white situation where, oh, he was just a soldier. It's like the first few episodes, oh, he was just a soldier that saw his world get killed, which is good motivation enough.
Right.
But now when we learned about his relationship with Lois, then his daughter, and then seeing Lois get lit up on national television, like, okay, I'm really seeing his point of view now. It was a very well-written character,
Yeah, I just hope they keep this level up with this series, That's,
I'm really hoping what we see in the future, I really do, is I really hope we see John come to an understanding that this isn't my Superman.
Yeah.
I really hope we get to understand. Oh, and side note too, because we talked about it earlier. Another reason why this episode was so great was Diggle from Arrowverse. This was the episode that he directed.
Oh yeah.
Well done, man. God, man. Normally when you hear an actor is going to do directing, especially for like TV shows, you're like, okay. And it wasn't, I'm sorry to say it, but like when everybody like the Flash, like everybody that's on Flash has taken a turn directing an episode of the Flash.
Right.
No, this was a very well done episode. He did a phenomenal job directing that episode. That was, goddamn, that was really good.
But yeah, I like I said, I think this is what is needed to be done. Of course, it's kind of weird how they're pumping more money into that, because I think they're going to funnel that into HBO Max instead of going anywhere else for the syndication, because it is on HBO Max. So I think that's why they're getting more money for that show.
Yeah.
Because the Flash didn't have that original contract to go straight to HBO Max. It's going to Netflix.
Yeah.
So I see after all these shows starts ending, it's almost like how Disney did it with the Marvel stuff.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's happening. I think that's why Supergirl's being canceled. I think Batwoman's being canceled because they had contracts with Netflix. I think a lot of these are because of Netflix, and they want to get out from under Netflix's contracts.
Yeah. And I think what they're taking a note from Marvel too, where Crisis really should have been the CW's version of Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're gone. It's such a, and I'm sure, especially with COVID and everything, and it could have been planned better. Like I guarantee you, Richard, that when they were writing and putting together Crisis, I mean, they knew Arrow was going.
Yeah.
I'll bet you dollars to donuts that at that time they didn't know what was coming within the next year or so.
Yeah, I think because didn't HBO Max just announce like after all that happened?
Yeah.
And then when AT&T decided to do that and everything, and then now AT&T just wants to spin off everything because it's merging with Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
So here's the show I want to see crossover. I want to see diners, drives, and diets with Guy Fieri pull up and serving hamburgers to the crew.
Oh my God! I mean,
or have supermarket sweeps and have all superheroes do it.
That sounds like, actually, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a brilliant SNL sketch, which they won't use because SNL hasn't had a brilliant sketch in years.
They did pretty good this year.
They did a few. There was a few standouts. But could you imagine that? Yeah, supermarket sweep, Richard. Barry, Clark, and Lana. All right, go. And they flash back, and they're like each one of them has like 9 carts full of food. And the guy's like, how are we going to kill the next 29 minutes? Like, I'm out. Except Barry's cart's empty because of his metabolism. He ate all the food. Clark's cart's empty because he felt like it was too much like stealing. But no, I think the CW needs to go in the same direction that Marvel did, where Iron Man, Cap, well, we still have Thor, but like the bigs are done now. Now we're moving on to the next phase. We don't need to rely on the old school Avengers. We have a whole new cast of characters, and some, like Rhodey, that weren't like the big 3.
Right.
We have a whole new cast of characters, that we're gonna spotlight, and we're gonna give more screen time to, like Ant-Man, and in like the shows like Hawkeye, Wanda, stuff like that. That's what the CW needs to do. They need to cut their losses. Like, look, our big characters are gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. We need to stop dwelling on it. We need to move on now. And I'm hoping, especially with everything going on with HBO Max, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And now HBO Max has announced that they're going to have that other level where there's going to be a commercial, on so you can watch the stuff with commercials. So it's going to be a little cheaper. So that might help a little bit too. I'm not sure exactly where that's all going, but I think HBO Max is what was the deciding point for what happened to the Arrowverse myself. But
I do too. I agree.
And I think that's for the best in a way. Hopefully these shows will be standing on their own. Excuse me, like Stargirl, it should have been on its own.
Yep.
Even though they're kind of tweaking with it a little bit and making it part of the Arrowverse by being Earth 2 or something like that. That's how some of the plot points that leaked out. I'll wait and see what happens, But I do like the fact that the one that played Flash from the 90s is going to play Flash on her Earth. So
John Wesley Shipp is going to be. I think he's going to be Jay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
I hope they keep that intact because he makes a good Jay right now.
Oh yes, he does, man. So, he really does make a great Jay. Like you throw that bucket on his head, man, and yeah.
I hope that's just good elements that they're pulling from what was left of the Arrowverse. You know what I'm saying, after Crisis, and I hope that Stargirl can still stay on its own.
And I really hope that the Jay Garrick we see in Supergirl is not the same Jay Garrick that we saw in Flash. I just be completely different. Just be a completely autonomous, separate person.
Right.
We don't need him to be the Jay Garrick from the Flashverse.
Right. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Me too.
We'll have to wait till August. Because that's when that comes out,
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because I was hoping it was going to be a summer thing coming up here in June, but they pushed it all the way back to August. So to me, that's almost like the new season, It's not really summer. I don't know. I think the whole COVID thing's got stuff all thrown off with schedules. So it won't be until like 2022-23 season before we get things back to normal.
Yeah.
Or what we used to remember as a season on. Of course, I don't know. With streaming now, what is going to be the normal? Stuff is just going to drop left and right,
Yeah, and they don't even have to worry about it. Some shows are going to be still weekly. Some are going to be binging, or they're going to drop the entire season. And
yeah, I don't know. It's just depends on what network or how they want to do it. I think Disney's doing good with dropping them weekly because Loki is going to be weekly.
Loki's going to be weekly. The other show that we haven't talked about, speaking of Disney Plus, was The Bad Batch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, surprise! Bomb ass cameo this last episode, man. Ming-Na Wen, man. I can't praise her enough, man. Reprised her role in an animated form of was it Phoenix? I always say the name. I say the name. Here's the other man. The animators deserve a little pat on the back because even in not only animated but within the Clone Wars style of animation,
you're right.
The second she walked out, we all were like, "We know who that is" before she even opened her mouth.
Yeah, that was a good episode, and it had that little bit of feel, sort of what they were trying to do with like the episode 2. Remember with the introduction, the bounty hunters and stuff,
Oh yeah.
I know it's that elements that part with the bounty hunters, and I think they did because they redid that a little bit with Rebels, with the bounty hunters and stuff like that, And the Clone Wars did it too. So I think this is a good way that it helps go into the Mandalorian that way then too. It just because we see a lot of pieces. That's just like the episode after that one. Did you watch this week's yet?
Not this week's yet.
Okay, then I won't say much, but it ties into original Star Wars pretty good. That's all I'm going to say.
And I love the way they're doing it because, like you said, Richard, in the very first episode, we got a good tie-in with Rebels when we saw young Kanan, Now we get a great tie-in with Mandalorian with Phoenix. It was like really good cohesion.
Yeah.
Is what we're seeing on this show. They're not focusing on it. It's
No.
not, it's like, oh, hey, look, special,
Yeah. But you gotta give shout out to Frank's little A team because they're starting to feel more like the A team.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And then with Marvel, we got to see something else this last week. The Eternals.
Oh,
trailer.
shit. Yes. Oh, man. That looked impressive. That looked impressive.
Oh yeah. I just hope people can understand what it's all about. That's what I'm still nervous about. Because who knows the internals? How many people on the street can you walk up and But I think adding the Captain America part in the trailer helped.
Yeah, and did you know there were small other Easter eggs too? Because they mentioned Captain America, but did you know that was so good too? It's like I could be Captain America, and they all just started laughing. But if you look in the background, I don't know which one but there was Captain America's shield
Right.
was something that was very reminiscent of it.
Yeah.
Was in the background that eagle-eyed viewers had to really pay attention for.
Well, someone was even writing that maybe because the Eternals are coming out from hiding is because Captain America's gone now.
Possible.
Or it has to do with the momentum of the changes going on within the MCU. That's how they come out from under the shadows or whatever.
Yeah,
they've been there forever. Because that ship when it came across, you had that so much 2001 Space Odyssey feel to it.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a monolith. No, it's a ship.
Yeah. And then when they showed them throughout different times in human history where it was, we're only here to observe, but, what celestial being can resist the urge to interfere for too goddamn long,
Right. I just hope that it's not over spacey so that some people don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within the Marvel universe, it's I know of the Eternals, I've read stuff from the 70s and stuff, so I knew about it back then. Heck, I even remember the original Eternals before these Eternals. There was another set of Eternals. Fantastic Four 115, the very first superhero comic I ever read. There was aliens called the Eternals in there. But it's really? Not these Eternals.
I do hope, because especially since they mentioned Cap, which was a great touch, I really hope it doesn't even have to be very much, explain where the hell they were at.
Yeah.
At least give me a scene where like some of them were like, especially during Endgame, wanted to intervene, and Angelina Jolie's character was kind of like, wait for it.
Yeah.
They got this.
But if Thanos was involved,
they should have stepped in right.
The Eternals is part of the Thanos mythology,
If I remember correctly, isn't Angelina Jolie's character, isn't the character like related to Thanos as like a Titan somehow?
Well, it's this Titans, but the Eternals aren't the Eternals the humans who was tinkered with the Celestials tinkered with the humans that became the Eternals?
I see. I'm going to have to bow to you to that one, though. I
think that's how that all worked out. And the Titans it has to do with the Kree. Because that's the Inhumans. Kree is with the Inhumans. And
right.
They did all that stuff, and the Eternals were Celestials. These Celestials came down and tinkered with the human DNA, and that's what, started the Eternals. But it looks like what they're going to do, they're going to say they're Kree coming to Earth, maybe, or something.
Quite possible. I don't know.
Maybe they'll tie. Oh.
Well, I was just going to say that's the great thing that we have going into this. It's kind of a lot. You know what it reminds me of, Richard? It reminds me a lot of when they first started showing previews for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Because outside of people like us the fans, the hardcore comic book fans, these guys over here that really like the Iron Man movies. Who the hell are the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah, and that wasn't even my Guardians of the Galaxy either.
No, yeah.
So, to me, it was like a whole new concept because that's not my Guardians is Vance Astro and his crew from the, 3001?
Yeah. Oh, I remember, because I remember one of my favorite comic books this is strictly, if you're watching or listening, you can tune out now. This one's strictly for Richard. I remember I have the book where Vance Astro was finally able to come out of the suit.
Oh.
So that one was for Richard. But no, that preview looked really good, and we had the preview for Shang-Chi like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And again, you got to give Marvel credit for taking the chance. They learned their lesson from Guardians of the Galaxy to take a chance and bank on not quite well-known properties,
right?
And running with it.
I just keep having that lingering feeling Inhumans in my mind, but
I think the Inhumans, not what we saw, but I think the characters of the Inhumans, I think they deserve a do-over.
Yeah, me too.
but you got to admit, though, if they introduce the Inhumans, I would really like to see it parallel with mutants, though, because some of those great relationships between the Inhumans and the mutants, like the X-Men, there was some really good stories there.
I was trying to read their origin real quick. Yeah, the alien celestials intended the Eternals to be the defenders of the Earth, which led to the war against the corrupted deviants. So it's a fictional race of appearing in comic books from Marvel Comics. But they said the Celestials, and it was the Eternals #1, July 1976. So that's back after Jack Kirby, I should say, created New Gods over at DC because he did those first, and this was his restart with Marvel. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I remember that.
But that preview looked amazing. Great effects. A really good kind of teaser for the story. It didn't give away too much. We see who they are. We kind of get an idea what they're about. We still don't know fully what the main crux of the story is going to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? In the preview, we saw them hanging out and helping people, but okay, like Age of Ultron. Here's a preview for Age of Ultron. Here's the good guys. Here's the bad guys. Here's what the story is going to be. Even Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of ambiguous, and it's like, well, here's the Guardians. Here's them hanging out in space. Come watch the movie.
They're going to save the universe.
Yeah.
I think that was some of the plot line or in the trailers, wasn't it? The saviors of the universe type thing.
Yeah.
But that didn't work well for He-Man. But
No. Golly, Richard. Hasn't been all that much else. I mean, I'm sure there has. I'm just not thinking of it. But one other thing I wanted to talk about just real quick is I got the chance to last weekend watch the fourth and final season on Netflix of Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
God damn, that was good. That was really good. I like the way they did it too. They ended it. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, they left it to the. I mean, it wasn't like spoilers. It wasn't like, oh, they're all dead. But we got a nice little cliffhanger at the end of the final episodes. It wasn't like a tune in next season cliffhanger, but it was a nice bookend. The final episode was a good end. Left it, open for more in the future if they decide to do it. But still, if it doesn't happen, it was still a good end. I've just enjoyed that series from the beginning. You know me, Richard. I like anime, but I'm not an anime guy.
Right.
But I really did enjoy this show. I really enjoyed this last season too.
Well, we got the movie. Army of the Dead dropped on Netflix.
Yes. Okay. Let's speak. Man, I'm so.
I can talk to you about Netflix stuff.
I'm so horrible, Richard. I always try to brag about how I'm blatant about segues, and I was just talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I completely dropped the ball with the Batista. Yeah, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out and say it. It's gotten some backlash. I enjoyed it.
It was a zombie movie. What more would you want?
It was enjoyable. It was a nice concept, It was. I mean, honestly, zombie movies are the ones that Richard. They're like the coin flip, where it's just like I can't imagine there ever not being zombie movies. like there's an endless possibility for zombie movies, but at the same time, the exact coin flip is like, how much can you do with a zombie movie? Like you're tapping the well dry, But it was a great concept,
Yeah, it was a good combination of the slow moving ones. Then they try to explain why there's fast moving ones.
Yeah, just a natural evolution of zombies.
Yeah.
And I like that they didn't feel that they had to go into too much detail about how the outbreak started with the prisoner, or it was. I mean, we knew as viewers, like, come on, man, we're watching a zombie movie, and you got a vault on the back of an army truck, and if there's one thing we've learned from this movie, Richard, and we've seen it in countless other movies, I don't care how vacant the desert road is, pay attention to the goddamn road. Pay attention because, again, I'm not knocking it, Richard, but like at the very beginning when they introduced the two characters, like, oh, we just got married in Las Vegas. I'm like, oh my God, I already knew exactly. I'm like, she's gonna, and
Yeah. I remember when I was driving, I went through out by Phoenix. I went out toward Mesa, and drove out in the dunes out that way, out there towards where the military base is and stuff, which I didn't realize there was a military base out there, and I'm driving along. This is the middle of the afternoon. This isn't night. Luckily, I didn't go out in the middle of the night because I would have been really freaked out. But during the day, all of a sudden, Apache helicopter flies up and around and it circles my car.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, those signs were real. I guess there is a reason you're not supposed to stop and take photographs.
Uh-huh.
Because you know what I was just doing just before that? I had stopped twice and took pictures. Bob, yes, I have pictures, but I
was just going to say, we haven't spoken to our FBI guy in a long time. I hope you... Hey, buddy, you know what? During COVID right now, Richard, you got to think about it. With so many more people doing what we're doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
His workload has got to be... I hope you're doing all right, buddy. Hope the wife and kids are good, or the husband and kids are good. I hope you're well. But I think you just nailed the exact reason why, Richard, we're tracking this guy who just took pictures. He has a podcast called Underground Video Network. Get him on the list.
Actually, it was before I started this. This was in 98. So.
Oh, no, you were still already flagged.
Or no, it was 2000. Or what's that, 2003? Did I go out there in 2000? I don't know. I must have.
you were flagged, buddy. They were.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had my cell phone with me. I didn't even realize it was a military base. I didn't even know what was out there until I talked to a friend later. Because I actually had one of my friends that was stationed there. And he looks at me and goes, you know what you were doing? And I go, no. And then he told me about what was out there, That's America's first line of defense is out in that desert.
But no, the movie. I really did. I enjoyed it. It was a good zombie movie, and I really liked the idea of the alpha because it's not an unfamiliar concept. You know, like what was it, Doug from the original Dawn of the Dead, or no, the remake of Dawn of the no. I'm sorry, I take that back. The original Dawn of the Dead. You know, where the military captures the one zombie and is like slowly starting to, you know, not reintegrate him, but like reteach him about being human. You know, that was a great scene where the zombie's like trying to shave. You know.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Day of the Dead with John Leguizamo. What was it? Big Mo. You know, that was a zombie movie, Richard, where all the rich people lived in the high tower building.
Right.
And we got to see the one zombie. He was starting to organize. You know what I mean? But he was the one that was figuring out, like the guy with the jackhammer. He's like, you know, he's like showing him how to use the jackhammer, and like he's showing him. So you know, the idea of evolution and zombies, you know, isn't something new. But I really like the way that they took it because, I mean, he was a zombie, but we have no idea to what extent. We don't know what the government, you know, they might not have just been an undead. You know, it's like, oh, we reanimated tissue. It's like, no, it's the U.S. government. We're gonna make a weapon out of him. Let's give him some brains. You know. And that's the other thing we've learned too, and we've learned from 100 movies. If you're in the army, the military, any, if you're a police, if you're a goddamn Boy Scout, and the person on dispatch tells you to get the hell out of Dodge, don't do this. Hey, God, oh no, you're gonna hear me tell you to get away from down the road. Like, hey guys, dispatch said to run. You know. And oh, what? I gotta give him points too for using one of my all-time favorite artists, Richard Cheese. And if you don't know who Richard Cheese is, I strongly recommend you look him up on YouTube. He is a brilliant performer. He is the modern lounge singer. He is the Vegas singer. Let me ask you this, I thought the opening was a little too long.
Yeah.
Like they were going for Zombieland.
Right.
But it was like, just, you know, like they didn't have to use the entire song.
Yeah. I was just wondering how they got the fortress built so fast.
I'm right there with you. How they got it built so fast, and not only that, but so fast that, I mean, I know the military or whatever was there to keep them at bay too, but you're telling me like a few dozen of them didn't make it out before the crates dropped all of them, you know? But I got no, go ahead, Rich.
No, I was just saying, you know, I enjoyed it for what it was. You know?
Me too. Was it on the level of Train to Busan? No. Was it as bad as Night of the Living Dead 3? No. No, for what it was done very well. Oh, dude, let's talk about the zombie animals, man. I was digging that shit. Oh my god, and they didn't even pull any guns in either. They were talking about the tiger. Yeah, that used to be one of Siegfried and Roy's. I was like, god damn. And dude, the zombie horse, I will defend the zombie horse. Call it ridiculous. I don't give a good goddamn. That zombie horse was baller. That zombie horse was pretty goddamn cool.
But yeah, like I said, Zack Snyder, you know, he did the remake of Dawn of the Dead, right? Or
I think so.
I was trying to figure out. I couldn't find which one he made, but yeah, he did one of the originals or the remakes. So you know, so he's done zombie movies before. So this was his newer interpretation. You know, you know.
And what's nice about Zack Snyder too is when he's not bound by corporate restraints, like for a superhero movie, which we've talked about before. When he doesn't have, the studio breathing down his neck, like, you have to do this, you have to do that. We
Right.
have to make these cuts. When he's left to his own devices, you get a goddamn good zombie movie.
Yeah, he did the remake of Dawn of the Dead in 2004.
Okay, yeah. Ving Rhames and Ving Rhames. Yeah.
Yeah, it hadn't come up. My computer was like, well, it was talking, but it wasn't giving me my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like that one too. That's always been one.
Same here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, that was the one that really introduced the idea of the fast ass zombie.
Faster. Yeah.
Because what was it? The first scene, well, we saw in a few scenes, like, at the beginning when the woman had just escaped her husband in the bedroom and she's back in her car, a dude comes fucking running out, man. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
shit. Even before that, the little girl. That was
yeah.
Fuck. But she didn't just like somber up, like, she like, shit.
Yeah, I always go back. My ultimate favorite one has always been Return of the Living Dead because I got to see it at the American Mall. It is just watching it at the American Mall, and only you would understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, man.
Did you see it when it came out there?
I don't think I did, Rich. I hate to say it. I hate to put you in this spot. I might have been just a wee bit too young to see that movie at that theater at that time.
Yeah, because that was like late '80s, right, when that came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking 9 or 10 years old, dude. My parents were cool, but they weren't that cool.
I don't know. It was because I always remember because you remember the American Mall or the American Mall Theater. Yeah, it fits so perfect in there because it was just funny watching it there. Because one guy he was the cable guy. His name was Richard, and he's the one that pulled the screwdriver through and hit the zombie. The first time they used the screwdriver to take out a zombie.
Yep.
I always thought that was the coolest because I died laughing so hard because I remember everybody in the theater was just dying during that part, But
I just remember, Richard, that was not the movie theater to go to if you wanted absolute quiet and to be able to focus on a movie. No. That was the rowdy theater.
Oh, yeah.
That was the rowdy theater.
Yeah, that came out in 1990.
Okay, so I probably was old enough, but I know I didn't see it at that theater though.
Okay,
I was probably too busy.
No, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. That's the remake. Never mind. I looked up something. It was the 80s. That came up wrong. There. It was 85. Yeah. Yeah, you weren't quite there yet.
But this one was really good. I liked their take on the zombies too. Showing the different evolutions of the zombies.
Yeah.
The only thing it seemed kind of weird that some of them had progressed to that level so quick, but at the same time too, I liked the idea of the alpha zombie, that it wasn't just especially since if you think about it, he was kind of like patient zero, where it would have been like instinctual for them to, like, when he growls, like, ooh. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And even I felt bad for the dude, man. It was when his lady friend.
No.
the discovery with his lady friend, like, he's holding I'm holding my hands out, people, because I don't want to say dead baby zombie fetus, man. Don't make me say dead zombie baby fetus, but oh my god, even I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. That little blue thing, it was like still sparkly, But then underneath that, we know the zombies were good. That was really cool that they gave him enough intellect, Richard, the helmet.
Oh yeah.
Come on, that was pretty goddamn cool. It was like they'd shoot the gun and he would like like he was directing the helmet toward, the bullet. That was cool. The idea that there was like a hierarchy, you know, it's like him. He had the queen, you know, and then like what was it? The not the mule. What's the term? The coyote. The woman that was getting people in and out of Vegas to like
Oh yeah.
drinking and stuff, you know, like she knew the rules. You know, it's like we're gonna give him an offer. We're gonna let us, you know.
And then Netflix has got a couple other things coming up. I know I'm really anxious to see. The DC. I'm trying to look it up here. It's the DC adaptation of the boy with the antlers.
Oh, Sweet Tooth.
Yeah,
Really looking forward to Sweet Tooth. Yes.
because that comes out June. Is it next week? Week after?
Next week or the week after. Yeah.
And then my series comes out 24th.
Oh, Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Richard, I'm going to send you a picture. When we were at the toy store there in Xenia, whole section of just Godzilla goodies. And I was just like, oh man.
But yeah, that's the only reason I kept Netflix for another month.
So, all right, Rich, I think it's about time for us to wrap this up because I don't have any more CW shows to bash. Superman and Legends, I'm looking at you. I love you.
Oh, we forgot to mention that we found out about the 2 new animated shows that's coming to HBO Max.
Refresh me.
The new Superman animated series.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And the Batman. The situation.
Oh, yeah.
And supposedly
Crypto.
Crypto
the Super Dog, voiced by The Rock himself, man. I love me some Crypto. Don't even get me started. I love me some Crypto.
That's a lot of animation, you know, because they're taking animation, you know, Cartoon Net. They're really incorporating a lot of that with Adult Swim and Cartoon Net, you know, because like today's Teen Titans Go was great. It was the best one ever. It had Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
Oh, shut up.
Seriously, they played themselves.
Oh, shut up.
They did the voice. Both of them did their own voices and everything. It was the origin of Teen Titans.
Oh. I love that.
Because there's this one sequence, I'll just look at the wall because it's all the old Teen Titans are on the wall. It's hilarious. The books. I know you don't watch Teen Titans Go, but look that one up. That's well worth watching.
I will look that one up.
It just debuted this morning at 9. So
okay.
But yeah, I think we talked about mostly everything.
Yeah. Remind me though, Richard, as a side note, one thing I want to talk about. It's too late in the show. I could do almost an entire episode on it, but I did here recently pick up the latest in DC's animation, the Flash and World War II.
Oh, did you pick that up?
I did pick that up. All I'm going to say is, like I said, Richard, I could go on for another 15, 20 minutes, but it was really good.
Okay.
And it's another one where the bonus features. I mean, if you want to buy it digitally, go right ahead. Me, I will buy the DVD. Again, the special features were another selling point to it. So we'll talk about that later. Okay. But for right now, Richard, for anyone watching and or listening, could you please tell them, especially with all the new things that you are adding to the site, where they can find us at?
Yeah, just go to undergroundvideonetwork.com. That's where you can find the UVN Plus video archive, plus our archive of all our episodes, all 100 episodes of We Talk Too Much are there too. And you can find the UVN We Talk Too Much on other locations that is like where podcasts are available. We're basically anywhere, so you can watch us or listen to us there. And all our video, like I said, 835 video episodes are on the new archive. So just go to undergroundvideonetwork.com.
So, behalf on Richard Catterjohn and myself, Michael Boroff, we hope that everybody's staying safe and healthy, and we hope very soon to see some people or see our friends at some shows responsibly. So take care, everyone. And if you would kindly, Richard, please press the